Hey everyone, this is Matt, and in today's video, I have for you my reaction to the December Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG 2022 ban list. That's right, our last TCG ban list was on October 1st. That was after a long 4-month hiatus, or 4.5 months, 5 months, whatever. Now, 2 months later, we're getting a ban list. Some people are calling this an emergency ban list. If it was an emergency ban list, it would have come out sooner. But honestly, I'd be happy if they released a ban list every 2 months instead of whatever the hell they were doing before. But anyway, let's get into it. I already saw all these cards, so I already know what to expect. We're gonna start with the unlimits, and of course, just as a heads up or like a side note, I knew from way before this list even came out that whatever list was gonna come out next was not gonna hit the issues of Tearlaments. Right? They'll do everything they can to not hit those specific cards because they want to sell products because money, right? Money is all that matters, not the enjoyable player experience. So, yeah, don't expect to see any issues of tier cards, but there may or may not be some changes here that will indirectly hit issues of tier limits. So let's get into the ban list. So, yeah, so unlimited, we have Teller Knight Ptolemaeus. So this card was previously banned, and now it's unlimited. I have no idea why this card was banned because I never played in the format where it was good. But the first thing I noticed is it's a rank 4. And what do we know about rank 4s? Ishizu Tearlaments loves rank 4s. They can make rank 4s out the wazoo, right? Because they have so many level 4 bodies. So the fact that this card was banned, even me not knowing exactly what it does yet, because I haven't read it, this is technically like a slight buff to Ishizu Tearlaments. Will they run this card in their extra deck? Who knows? But they have that option now. So let's read what it says. Once per chain, during either player's turn, you can attach 3 materials. Special summon from your extra deck 1 exceeds monster that is rank 1 rank higher than this card. So basically, except a number monster. But using this face-up card, you control as exceeds material. Choose exceed summon materials attached. Okay, you can detach 7 materials from this card. Skip your opponent's next turn. What? You can detach 7 exceeds materials from this card. Skip your opponent's next turn. Okay, now I kind of see why this might have been broken and banned. During each player's end phase, you can attach Teller Knight card from your extra deck to this card. Okay, well, I guess there was a way to invoke. I don't know if it was abused because of the skip opponent's turn card, because I can't really conceive of how will they put 7 level 4 materials under this card. You can attach. Yeah, so maybe the rank up, making a rank 5. I don't know. I'm not. If y'all have played, again, I did not play during this format. If you did, comment down below. Tell me why this card was good or is good. Is it because of the turn skip? And if so, how did you get 7 materials so easily? Whatever. I don't care. Will Ishizu Tearlaments play this? I don't know. I don't think they played in OCG. Then again, I don't know if it's banned in OCG, but it's rank 4, so they can play it if they want. But the more interesting cards on the Unlimited is not even this one, it's the other ones. D Fisher to 3, baby. Let's go. That's right. So now, this is going to be a main deck 3 of for Flu. It's good going first or second. You're against Ishizu Tearlaments, you just play this, and then they have to respond with Crime, or if you're going first and they're going second, they just scoop, right? So, yeah, D Fisher, very good card. It's already at 3 in the OCG. And I don't think that's enough to shut down Ishizu Tearlaments, so I'm going to assume the same thing here. It being at 3 in the TCG will not be enough to shut down Ishizu Tearlaments. Fire Formation tanking it back at 3. Okay, cool. They put it at 2 not long ago. Now it's back at 3. So I guess Tri-Brigade players rejoice. Macrocosmos at 3. Yes! I like back row and I like Floodgates. So anytime I see back row cards or Floodgates cards going to 3, I'm usually happy. All right. So Macrocosmos to 3. I mean, Macrocosmos is like a side deck card, best case scenario. So yeah, I guess I side in a single copy of Macrocosmos in my Flu deck, so that when I'm going first against Ishizu Tearlaments, I side in Macrocosmos. Now I'm gonna side in what, 3 Macrocosmos? Cool. Metaverse to 3. Woo! Woo! Rejoice! Metaverse is back to 3. Metaverse is back to 3. You know what that means? That means you know exactly what card gets banned on this list. You probably already saw it before even watching this video. But yeah, the reason this card can come back to 3 is because a certain field spell is finally fucking banned. Great. Metaverse to 3. By the way, the price of all these cards, D-Fissure, Macrocosmos, and Metaverse, skyrocketed, right? It's like I think I was seeing this morning a super rare Metaverse is like $12. It used to be like less than 5, right? The secret rare Metaverse is like $30+. It used to be like 10, right? Like over a 3x price increase. D-Fissure Macrocosmos also their prices are astronomically skyrocketed. I don't know if I'm gonna just bite the bullet and pay those prices, but one of my buddies claims that he has 5 old copies of a common D-Fissure from back in the day because he played Yu-Gi-Oh during eras in which I did not. So yeah, maybe I'll hit him up and see if we can make a little deal, right? Although what D-Fissure Macrocosmos Metaverse reminds me of is, or what it indicates to me, the fact that they're now unlimited. I think they're gonna get the skill drain treatment where skill drain was unlimited at the beginning of the year. And over the course of this year, it got like 4 reprints or something absurd, right? It's like dual terminal. There's a structure deck, dual terminal ultra rare. There's an ultimate rare. There's a structure deck, and then ultra rare. Right, just like 4 reprints of Skill Drain over the course of a year, in the same year that it got banned. And since D-Fissure and Macrocosmos are old ass cards, I have a feeling that they're going to be reprinted very, very soon. So maybe I'll just sit on some commons, like some cheaper commons, and then wait for the reprints for the holos. Yeah, because D-Fissure and Macrocosmos are very. It's time for them to get reprints and holo upgrades. Metaverse, they got a common printing in the Crystal Beast structure deck. That's actually the ones I'm going to be using. I own 1 super rare from the OTS pack, and I own 2 commons. I don't know if I want to pay $30+ for the secret rare. I'm going to wait till it settles, but I also have a feeling that Metaverse might get another holo reprint, maybe hopefully an ultra rare. Because I don't think Metaverse has an ultra rare reprint. It has a secret rare from Speed Duel, but it could really use an ultra rare one. So I'm gonna hold out that there's probably gonna be reprints of those of Metaverse of all 3 of these cards, right? And until then, I'll just sit on like some cheaper commons. Even though even the commons, well, the Metaverse commons are cheap, but are like pennies. But the Macrocosmos D-Fissure commons are like expensive because again they've been out of they have been out of print so long. They don't have that many reprints, so. Yeah, I already own 1 copy of D-Fissure, 1 copy of Macrocosmos. I'll pick up 2 more copies of each in the near future. Just going to let the market settle down a little bit. Plus, this list says effective December 1st, 2022. So, there's no rush. It's during the holidays. I don't know if I'm going to play much Yu-Gi-Oh! If I do play Yu-Gi-Oh! It will be when I visit my friend, the same friend who has the like 5 extra copies of D-Fissure, common D-Fissures lying around. So maybe I'll pick those up from him. But anyway. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. I'm mostly happy with this Unlimit list. I don't know about Tellarknight Tearlaments, but only time will tell. Comment down if you think this card is too broken to be unlimited. Semi-limit. Lyrilustre Recital Starling back at 2. Well, I guess it was originally at 3, went to 1, now it's at 2. Lyrilustre Tri-Brigade is kind of dead deck. I don't know if they're trying to bring it back by putting this back at 2. Remember, they still don't have Samorg. So they can't just they can't just put Barrier Statue and or Apex Avion on the field. So maybe this is okay at 2. The main problem with this card is like this is not a once per turn. Like every copy of Recital Starling can search a bird, which is kind of problematic in my opinion. But I don't know. I don't think this is gonna make a splash. And again, they put this as a semi-limit because they're testing the waters, seeing if it's gonna become a problem, and if it doesn't, which it probably won't. It'll probably go back to 3. I think it's at 3 in the OCG. Like, Lyrilustre Tri-Brigade isn't doing anything over there. So, limits. Herald the Orange Light. This is definitely an indirect hit to to Ishizu Tearlaments. I don't actually think any of the topping, like, actually tournament winning Ishizu Tearlaments decks actually running this card in the main deck. Maybe as a side deck. I don't know. But, yeah, obviously this is supposed to be an indirect hit. I do think that this card is way too broken with how it works with how it interacts with the Ishizu cards, right? In the sense that like, the Ishizu cards are all fairies, even though they really should be warriors. But like, yeah. So you basically, the cost of this card is, oh, you have to discard this card and discard a fairy to negate a monster effect. Like in a vacuum, that sounds reasonable. You're trading 2 cards for 1, right? For 1 negate. But because you want the Ishizu cards in the graveyard, that's not a cost. That's a benefit, right? That's a so you just net so much now, right? So I'm okay with this going to 1. Although I think they should have just like just ban Kit Kalos, all right? Ban Kit Kalos is the solution to Ishizu Tearlaments. Don't touch Ishizu cards. Just ban Kit Kalos. But you might think, wait, but without Kit Kalos, how do Ishizu Tearlaments play? They can still play. They can make Aurora. They can make Jago Stapelia. They can make Kaleido Heart. They can still play, right? They'll just be a lot weaker without, just ban Kit Kalos. I'm telling you, banning Kit Kalos is the only way we're ever going to escape this Ishizu Tearlaments nightmare. If Kit Kalos is still exists, it will always be like top deck. Look at the OCG. They limited so much shit. They limited a bunch of Tearlaments cards. They limited the field spell. They limited the Shizu cards, and it's still tier 0. Why? Because Kit Kalos is still a legal card. Ban Kit Kalos. I'm telling you, that's how you fix Ishizu Tearlaments. They can still play. They can still make rank 4s. They can still make Baron de Fleur. They can still do. They still will have so many tools in their toolbox. How do I know this? Because I run this card called Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, which is a card that lets me ban Kit Kalos in game, right? So I play Flu, and yeah, I main deck Winter Cherries, and I'm going second against them. They send a Tearlaments. I chain Winter Cherries. I banish all copies of the Kit Kalos, and guess what? They still have an end board. They can still make Baron. They can still make Abyss Dweller. They can still make Maguska. They can still make everything, except for obviously the Root Kalos with the crime. But everything else is still there, right? So it's not like they won't be able to play Yu-Gi-Oh without Kit Kalos, but they're going to be significantly weaker, which is the purpose, right? We don't want a tier 0 format. Tier 0 formats suck. Anyone who says tier 0 formats are fun, they're actually dumb, and not smart people, right? And anyone who tells you, casual players love diverse formats and competitive players love tier 0 formats because of skill expression, blah 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 blah, and not having to side or prepare for that many decks, it's like, no, if you actually like tier 0 format, or if you think competitive players, dude, that's just cowardice, right? It's literal cowardice if you only want to play against one deck and play that deck. It's just, there are a lot of interactions in the mirror matchup of Ishizu Tearlaments, but it's just not fun for everyone else. Tier 0 formats are bad. It's not good, even at a competitive level. Anyway, so yeah, sucks to be Madolche. I know my friend plays Madolche. He has 3 ultimate rare copies of this card. Rip. Rip in peace. And obviously it screws Drytron, but I don't care. Drytron is a degenerate deck. I've always hated that deck. Even though they banned Eva, it's still it's just stupid. Fuck that deck, right? So I don't care that this indirectly hits Drytron. Drytron should not be playable, or should at the very least be rogue, low rogue, right? I just want to see less Drytron. It's just an annoying deck. The Forbidden List. Here we go. Mystic Mine. Yeah, that's why Metaverse is back at 3. Because Mystic Mine is finally banned. And apparently so is Curious the Lightsworn Dominion. So these bans should have happened back in August or July, right? Hey, December 1st, 2022 ban list. August call, they want their ban list back. This is what should have been banned in August or September, right? That's when Mystic Mine and Curious were the most problematic. Now, Curious doesn't. I don't think Tearlaments bothers with Curious anymore. I get that any effects, being able to mill whatever card you want is problematic in Yu-Gi-Oh, because the graveyard is no longer the graveyard. They should change. They should have. I swear, they should just officially change the name of the graveyard to Second Hand or Hand 2, right? There's no such thing as a graveyard anymore. It's bullshit. Every time you mill a card, you're essentially drawing a card. It's the same thing. Mill 5, draw 5. It's basically the same thing. Thanks to the way that Konami's been the direction Konami's been taking the game, where every freaking mill card has a graveyard effect, right? So, yeah, it's stupid that, first of all, that the game has gone in that direction, and they should just make it official. Next, put out Master Rule 6 and say the graveyard has now been renamed to Hand 2, right? Or something, because that's basically what it is now. Anyway, Yeah, so I guess like whatever. Like Curious is banned, cool. Doesn't really affect Ishizu tier because they're not using Curious anymore thanks to the Ishizu cards. So yeah, this ban list is like 6 months too late. Mystic Mine finally banned. I mean, this card has always been unhealthy for the game. Even as a back row enjoyer, floodgate enjoyer, I still think this card is too degenerate. Right, I thought Imperial Order was degenerate. A lot of cards are just unhealthy for the game. Yeah, I thought Anaconda was a card that should have been banned, even though I played Dark Magician, right? That basically almost killed the deck. And now banning Mystic Mine kills Dark Magician completely because Dark Magician literally can't play. Period. Right. Um, yeah, and Mystic Mine kind of became one of those necessary evils against Ishizu Tearlaments because it's like, oh, how do you stop Ishizu Tearlaments from playing a million effects on your turn, right? Before you can do anything. Mystic Mine was kind of a one way to kind of hamper that a little bit, like just say okay, enough, right? Um, but yeah, now it's gone, which it's for the best, right? It really should be not in the game anymore, because it's just not healthy for the game. So yeah, good job. Unfortunately, I don't see Tearlaments kick Kalos on this list, so clearly, whatever they think they're going to accomplish with this ban list, it's not going to accomplish what they think that it's going to accomplish. Like, we're going to need another ban list very, very soon. Once again, like, maybe January, February, because, yeah, the Shoes of Tearlaments is not going anywhere. As long as kick Kalos exists, they're not going anywhere. It's just not happening. Um, yeah, one more thing I want to say about Metaverse. Another reason I'm happy about Metaverse back at 3. That's 2 more copies of Necro Valley, which is great against Shoes Tearlaments. It's 2 more copies of Secret Village of the Spellcasters. And one more thing I want to say about D Fisher, but also Metaverse. So, unfortunately, or fortunately, it's up to, depending how you look at it, Eldlich the Golden Lord and the Eldlich deck already not that viable as the deck, thanks to Bestials and Shoes Tearlaments and among other things. But basically, Eldlich has or is getting slash maybe already has been dethroned by Labyrinth. So Labyrinth is going to be the new king of control decks or queen of control decks, depending how you look at it, right? Yeah, there's a lot of great Labyrinth support that came out. There's more Labyrinth support coming out in Photon Hypernova, which will make the deck even way more powerful. I already picked up my core cards, so my core is coming in the mail very soon of Labyrinth, right? I'm gonna get on the Labyrinth hype train because yeah, Eldlich is dead. But one thing I do want to say about Labyrinth is that Labyrinth is a deck that is perfectly okay playing D Fisher, whereas Eldlich does not want to play D Fisher, right? Because we don't care about banishing that much. Banishing the monsters, cool, don't care. Like banishing the monsters don't do anything, right? Or don't do much, right? In Labyrinth, and even Macrocosmos, can kind of, I mean, Labyrinth does have some effects where they can recycle traps from the graveyard, which is why D Fisher, doesn't care, right? So, maybe that'll be bad if you have Macrocosmos, but I think it hurts the Shoes of Tearlaments way more than it hurts Labyrinth to run Macrocosmos there, whereas Eldlich does not want, right? And Metaverse, guess what? By that same logic, Labyrinth would perfectly fine playing Necro Valley, right? And it has its own field spell, like the Labyrinth. And yeah, so I can definitely see Metaverse being a main deck option for Labyrinth. Same with D Fisher. And for those of you curious how to deck build Labyrinth, stay tuned. Eventually I'll have the core cards. Maybe eventually I'll take it to locals. My thinking is I probably won't do that until I get all the support. So Photon Hypernova is probably when I'll really start taking Labyrinth seriously and like making it my primary deck, I'm guessing. So but just putting out just some ideas that I had that yeah, I can see D Fisher being a main deck Labyrinth card, Metaverse, right, with Necro Valley and it's obviously its own field spell. So yeah, I don't know, the tyranny of Shoes of Tearlaments will continue. But some other decks like Flu is gonna be very happy. Labyrinth is gonna be very happy. Gravekeepers, I don't know if anyone still plays Gravekeepers. I'm a Gravekeepers deck enjoyer. But obviously, it's like it's probably still not going to win. But anyway, yeah. So hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you like my reaction. Comment down in the comment section what you think about this ban list. Do we need more? What's up with that rank 4? Right? What are your thoughts and opinions? Yeah. So See you in the next video. Peace.